Raj, and welcome to Entrepreneur Talks podcast run by Women Flix. My name is Yola Bash, and I'm so grateful for having you here with me today. I'm very excited.
Thanks for having me. It's super exciting to be here. I know we have been going back and forth on different types of communication via emails and stuff, and finally we made it happen. So,
Yes,
pretty excited.
thank you, Raj. But before we start, we go straight. Before we go to the questions I've got for you today, where are you talking from?
I am from Chicago in the United States,
Yeah, you
so the
sound
Midwest.
you sound like America.
I know. Now I'm pretty excited. I'm in a happy mood because, as we were just talking before the podcast, the weather is pretty awesome here. And I just took a long walk, and it's sunny. The leaves are falling. The birds are chirping in month of November when it's supposed to snow. So I'm not complaining.
And you had the elections a few days ago, so with the sun, everyone is happy with the elections. Everyone is happy with the weather, so it's party there.
I know it's been quite a week, and yeah, finally I think we are starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay, great. So Raj, let's start to talk about your, like, if you can tell us about your story, your life story, to
Mhm.
inspire people. Let's see what you can say about yourself in a explain who is Raj. Just
Yeah, definitely. So, of course, from my thick American accent, you already know I was not born in the United States. So I grew up in the southern part of India from a place called Chennai, which is one of the bigger cities in India, and it's really important. The city pretty much fuels the economy as well. So that's where I come from, and I'm the younger of the two kids. And since a young age, I had this inferiority complex that I wasn't good enough because it's partly because of my childhood, because my dad was super smart. My brother is a genius. He has three masters and a PhD, and there I was, the average kid who didn't do well in academics. So for those of you listening, if you're Asian, then you'll probably get this because academics is really, really pushed on in the Asian community, right? Because about a couple of decades ago, the meaning of success was different. It's all about being a doctor, lawyer, or engineer, and then earn money, buy a house, settle down, get married, have kids, and that was the meaning of success. And then I came along, and
I love
I
it.
didn't understand all these things because for me, I was a person with a lot of interests. I loved sports. I loved making new friends. I loved questioning things which I don't understand. And from where I come from, you don't question things. You have to follow the status quo. And in spite of that, if you question something, you get reprimanded for it. So all this constant comparison with other people around me to make them take me seriously, and constantly being reprimanded, all these things led me to have low self-esteem, high self-doubt. I was going through severe body image issues because I grew up as a fat kid, and I was ridiculed for my weight as well. So that was kind of my entire childhood experience. And then the trigger event happened during the second year of my undergrad, where I still remember this. I was uh, I was starting to feel pain in my chest, and my chest is beating really fast, like tuck 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 tuck. I thought I was getting a heart attack, but apparently it was just a panic attack. But at that point of time, I didn't know what it was. So I went to my study room and tried to sit down, and I started sweating, and then my body was shaking, my hands were trembling, and then I started tearing up, and I didn't understand why that was happening. And then slowly, I can see the pain from my chest shifting towards my head because all these 20 years of living a life in anxiety, depression, self doubt, fear of being ignored, all these feelings which had bottled up inside me, they kind of exploded.
Wow.
And for 2 hours, I was sobbing there because I came to a realization that for the first 20 years of my life, I was trying to live a life to satisfy other people. I wanted them to take me seriously. I wanted them to, I didn't want them to be disappointed. But but by doing that, what happened was I was disappointing myself.
Oh, yeah.
I was letting other people's opinion be my reality. And that's when I came to a
Shift.
decision that, you know what? I matter. I'm enough. I'm going to carve my own identity and I'm going to strive for greatness. And that's when I declared power over my life. And since then, from my second year of my undergrad, I've done a lot of things. I've experienced a lot of things in my life. And one thing led to another. I started off in the IT industry, being a software developer. Then I came to the US to do my master's. Then I went through leadership positions, and then management positions, and now finally running my own business where I help people in the tech industry land a dream job and become successful leaders in the industry. So that's my kind of detailed overview of where I was, like a shy introverted kid, and where I am right now, which is an international keynote speaker, author, and a career coach, helping people lead better lives. So that's what I do.
Wow. And I'm so proud of you. And I'm so honored to be here and talk to you. Doesn't matter if you see, and it's so many people that is been through the same situation like you. You know
Yep.
that because you're helping these people now. But it's so normal following the cultures and the way people grow, like raise other people, like just study, do this. They're following the status quo, like you said, like you mentioned, and you came to realization, like, yes, this is not me, and then you came to
Right.
yourself, and now you live with joy, in happiness, with power, yes, with
Yeah.
no emptiness, no fear. I love it.
And you bring up a great point. A lot of people are in the same situation, and the problem is they're looking for a channel to come out of it.
Mhm.
And over the past 15 years, being in the tech industry specifically and leading teams and then mentoring people, I saw a lot of me in other people. The old Raj who was trying to face his fears, who was trying to go through adversities and come out at top, right? So I could see these things in other people. And that was kind of the main reason why I do what I do right now, because trust me, I am really average. If I can actually transform my life, so can anyone else, right? And it's not rocket science, because it starts with the mindset and belief system. That's
Yeah.
where we start. And then I apply different strategies, which I have learned personally in my life, which has been instrumental in my transformation. Because right now, me and you are talking like this, and we don't have scripted things to talk about, right?
Yeah,
And I can talk so freely because I've gone through a lot of experiences, but I
absolutely.
didn't start off this way. In
Yeah.
fact, I still remember just talking to a girl during my childhood would give me a nervous breakdown. It'll feel as if I'm getting a nervous breakdown. There was this girl in my 8th grade who I had a crush on, and it took me 3 weeks just to say hi to her, because I used to stutter, I used to sweat just when I go near her. And I'm talking that type of Raj. And now we have this type of Raj currently talking to you. So change is possible.
Yes, marvelous, marvelous. Oh, you just made me remember myself. That thing about the crashing. I'm like, oh yes, I know what you're talking about. Just
I know.
looking. But yes, I'm so glad, and you're so right. You're so right that we now are different, and it's possible. It is possible. So,
Right.
and what are the strategies people can use to find jobs? Because now you coach people on tech, but also you know the strategies, right? Are you saying?
Yeah. So just to set some context in terms of how I help people find their dream job, uh, I had to go through a really hard experience. So I came to the US in 2008, and I still remember this vividly. I came in on August 31st, 2008, and then on September 7th, 2008, a week after I came, Lehman Brothers fell. They became bankrupt overnight. They were the biggest financial firm in the US and in the world, right? And that kind of triggered the whole recession. So literally 1 week before, 1 week after I came to the United States, recession started. And being an immigrant, it was really hard to get jobs because for immigrants in the US, and I believe it'd be the same thing in UK and other countries as well, where you need a work permit, right? And companies need to sponsor your work permit. And for me, no one was ready to sponsor me because they themselves were going bankrupt.
Yeah.
So I was left with two choices. One was go back to where I came from, like half of my class, in my master's program, or stick around and do whatever it takes to see whether there's some opportunities here. So luckily, I chose the second option. And then from beginning of 2009 till end of 2009, I applied for 1,293 jobs, 1,293 jobs. And guess how many callbacks I got from these 1,293 jobs?
I don't want to say. None? No, one.
But that's a good guess. So I got 4 callbacks, which is a 0.3% conversion rate. And then I converted 1 job out of it, and which was not a full-time job, but an internship. But since then, I took my internship seriously, and I worked my butt off to prove to people that immigrants can be credible and they can provide value to the team and organizations as well, right? That whole journey in 2008-2009 timeframe gave me a lot of insights into how you need to apply for jobs. Because frankly speaking, for the first 500 jobs, I had no clue what I was doing because I was panicking, just applying for jobs randomly without knowing what my skill sets are and what my strengths are. But then for the next 700 plus jobs, that's when I realized that there's certain things you could do to find your dream job, right? So just to quickly give, say, 3 strategies to help anyone listening to this podcast today, how to find your dream job, right? I'll just do 3 because there are more strategies which I describe in my book, but I'm going to tell you the first 3 things which is going to change your life right now if you implement it. So the first strategy to find your dream job is doing what is called the mind dump exercise.
Right.
So this is the thing. If you're using a GPS system and say you're using Google Maps, without putting the address, the destination address, there's no way you're going to reach your destination.
Right.
You cannot then say Google Maps is not working properly. And that is the problem with our careers as well. If you don't know what kind of job you want, if you don't know what kind of career you want, there's no point applying for jobs and then complain that, man, I'm applying for jobs, but nothing's working out, because you need to have a goal. That's where the mind dump exercise is going to help you. So quickly to give you what it is, literally just take a paper and pen right now, and then put a line in the middle of the paper. Mm-hmm. On the left side, you're going to write down things you love to do. And on the right side, you're going to write down things you hate to do. Just by doing this exercise for 30 minutes in an uninterrupted way, without any messaging or Slack notifications, make sure you do this without interruption. Just in these 30 minutes, you're going to unravel so many things which is locked in your mind, and you're going to see it on paper, right? So say, for example, some of your strengths are, say you discover that communicating with people is something you like, collaborating with people is something you like, giving presentations to people is something you like, then maybe being in marketing or sales or a project manager could be something you could think about. Similarly, in terms of things you hate doing, if you hate to be micromanaged, if you hate, say, for example, collaborating with people, if you hate trying to follow processes, then maybe being a software programmer at a startup company where usually there's no process is something which is going to be helpful. You see what I'm saying? So that's how you start identifying different patterns. And then when you have 4 to 5 career options to choose from, pick the top 3 and then start strategizing it, right? So that is the first thing, which is the mind dump exercise. Then quickly, just 2 more things because I know we have other things to talk about. Next thing is LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is the most underestimated social media network in the world. Everyone uses Facebook and Twitter, but they forget about LinkedIn because LinkedIn is where all the professionals hang out, right? So for people who are listening, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, just pause this podcast right now and go create a LinkedIn profile because that is so important. That is your identity. That is how you're going to get jobs, and that is how you're going to get to know other people in your network, right? So you need to have a LinkedIn profile and make sure different sections of your profile are updated, and every word you put in LinkedIn is SEO. So when recruiters use softwares to screen people to search for resumes, the softwares are going to look for keywords like management, team player, collaboration, communication, sales, programming, right? All these keywords are really important for you to have on your LinkedIn profile because that's when you are going to be in the top 10 Google search results. And we have more advanced LinkedIn strategies which you could use as well, but this is a good start for you, right?
Awesome.
Finally, the easiest thing you could do is subscribe for job alerts. You don't have to go to like 10 career websites every day and then manually search for jobs. Instead, have these job alerts. You can set up job alerts in like 3 out of the 5 widely used career websites, and you can automatically get updates on different jobs on a daily basis and a weekly basis. So you're taking a proactive approach instead of you reacting to it and then searching for jobs, right? So quickly, those are 3 strategies which can skyrocket your career right now and help you find your dream job.
This is amazing, Raj, because I totally agree with you when it comes to LinkedIn, and I love the other tips. Really, really good. And I'm glad that I've been going, like, I'm shocked that you did have so many jobs applications and 4 answers. That's crazy. That's why of these kind of things. I hear these things, and when I'm applying for a job, I remember myself applying for jobs, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to apply for more than 5. I'm going to apply 5. I'm going to wait, because if I apply for 20 and only 2, I don't know. I guess I don't know. Now these days, with more these stories I hear, the more I feel like, no, I don't need to apply for 1,000. Can you imagine 1,000 something something? I know your number was quite big.
I know that is because I didn't know the strategies. But right now, you don't have to be old Raj who applied for 1,000+ jobs. You can be the new Raj, where just follow these strategies plus more, which I describe in my book, which can help you, right? Even for your job application, I have a Excel sheet which we'll put on the show notes, which you can download, and you can figure out, okay, these are the jobs I applied for, what type of job it was, when did I apply for it, who's the contact person. So when you have an Excel sheet and strategically apply for jobs and then log everything, then you can easily follow up on those jobs. You have control over the entire job application process as well, right? That there is another strategy. But as you said, yeah, LinkedIn is really important, and you don't have to apply for that many jobs if you follow the mind dump and then apply for it.
Yes, it is. It's such a powerful network platform to do a lot of things there. It is.
Right.
Thank you for these tips for my listeners, for myself. This is really, really awesome, really helpful. And so I had a question, like, I think we can add to this answer that you just gave, which is how to be successful in your career, because with these strategies you find the right word job, right? And you start to be successful, right? But
Right.
you do the right steps to start something. But if you want to add something else, feel free.
Yeah, of course, as you can see, helping people in their careers is my passion, so I can keep talking about this all day long. But couple of things I could mention to be successful in your job is, firstly, let me take a step back. You first find your dream job, right? And then now you got the job. How do you prove to people that you could do the job? And how can you establish credibility, right? That's what we are talking about here in terms of how to be successful. And once you are successful, the next chapter would be, how are you going to set yourself miles apart from a competition, right? So there are different aspects to your job and your career. But right now, we are talking about how to be successful in your career, right? To do that, I can share quickly 2 or 3 strategies which can help you out right now. First things first, when you get a job, volunteer to do jobs with no one else wants to do. To be really raw here, volunteer to the shitty jobs which no one wants to do, because that's how you are going to develop a reputation. For example, when in 2009, I joined a company, and there was this Excel sheet which the entire company was using, and they used to spend like 3 to 4 hours per day updating different types of data, right? I noticed this for like 2, 3 months. And then I thought, man, this is so time consuming. What if I write like a small code to actually automate this process? So I asked my manager saying, hey, would you be okay that every day just for like 20 minutes, I work on something, because I think this Excel sheet can be automated, right? He said, you know what? Yeah, try doing it and time box it for a week, and then let's see what happens. To cut a long story short, now it's 2020, and that company in 2009 still uses the same Excel sheet and the code I wrote. I was able to reduce 4 to 5 hours of work into 20 minutes of work, right? That is
Wow.
because I volunteered to do a job which no one else wanted to do. And that's how you establish credibility. Even now, people talk about me because the entire company uses that Excel sheet, right? So that's a simple example of how you identify different things which are causing problems and
Right.
no one else wants to do.
Very
That is your
powerful.
ripe gold mine right there. If you do that to like decently and solve a problem, and then you already establish credibility, then slowly people start respecting you. You get more responsibilities, you get more people to notice you, right? So that is the first thing. The second thing you want to do is undersell, overperform. So what do I mean by that? Whenever you get a task, the common mistake people say is they overcommit to things. They would say for example, you have task A, and they say you have to finish it in 3 days. You would say, you know what? I'm going to finish
In one
in
day.
2 days. And then what happens is they end up fastening everything. And then somehow they finish something in 2 days, but their work is not delivered with quality, right? Instead, when a person says, okay, can you finish this task in 3 days? j- think about how much minimum time it would take for you to finish, right? Say the minimum time to finish the task is like 2 days, then you would say, you know what? Why can I do this in 3.5 days instead of 3 days? Then
Mm,
if they say yes, what are you going to do is finish the task within 2 days, then spend one day to do something creative to put your stamp on that particular job or work, right?
nice.
That's how you differentiate yourself from other people. So always undersell, then overperform. Always deliver things with additional value, because there's a saying, right? To be extraordinary, you need to go the extra mile.
Well,
Again, to repeat that, to be extraordinary, you need to go the extra mile. So keep that in mind. And those are some strategies to be successful. And following these strategies, I've been voted as a star performer in 6 out of my 8 previous companies I worked for. And again, to your audience, I'm telling this, I'm an average guy. These strategies are not rocket science, but it's just tried and
Raj,
tested methods by shadowing other mentors, by having other coaches, and that's how I learned these strategies and experiences as well. And something you can implement right now if you want to grow and be successful.
Raj, I love the simplicity that you got it. You got because you were telling like just saying now I'm an average guy, and I was thinking about and he thinks he's an average guy. Do you think yes, you average guy with a powerful mindset and a power vision and a power productive like creativity because this average guy it is amazing. You've been doing you got so many strategies. It's amazing. And I'm thinking about your father, your brother, and I'm like, really? You were just hiding somewhere because you are really powerful. I'm telling you about it.
Thank you. I think I believe in this. For anyone to have a transformation, they would have to go through some experiences and adversities because that's what makes you better. But the difference is what level of adversities you want to go through. You can. That's where the difference is. That's why, like you, me, and other people help to coach people to become better version of themselves because we have gone through some experiences.
Yes.
So people don't have to start from scratch and go through all the things we have gone through, right? So we give them the golden nuggets. But in spite of that, they still need to have this mindset that change is possible. Because again, there's a saying that you can take a horse to a pond, but you cannot make it drink, right? That's why it starts with your mindset and belief system. That's why when people come to me like for help, I want to make sure they are ready for change. I want to make sure they realize how bad they want it, right? I analyze that because there's some people who are thirsty for change. There's some people who do not want to make the change, but they just see other people making changes, but they're still lazy and stuck in their shell, right? There's a difference. And this the thing all of you need to remember, including me from time to time. If you feel that you're worth $50,000, then the way you show up, the way you act, the way you do things is going to reflect a person who earns $50,000. But if you feel that you're worth $200,000, then the way you show up, the way you react, the way you do things is going to reflect a person who earns $200,000. So for me, it started with the mindset system where I knew that change is possible because all the great people we know, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Mahatma Gandhi, no one literally fell from heaven and became entrepreneurs, right? You and me know that. So everyone have to remember that you have to start from somewhere. The hard part is starting.
Yeah.
And then things happen when you start something. And I think that's why it differentiates legends to people who think they can do legendary work, right? So I think that's the difference right there. You have to start something to be great at instead of procrastinating.
Wow. Yes, totally agree. I don't have too many words to say after you say all you said just now, because is that the way? That's the key. That's the key. Mindset, beliefs is the key. And I don't know if because you mention a lot about mindset and beliefs, and I do run my business myself, my life as well, focus on that is my mindset and my belief, the way I treat myself. I care about myself, including my spiritual side, which is very important.
Right, right.
Powerful.
For me, as you see, I'm a sucker for inspirational quotes. Throughout my office and my phone, my notes, you have inspirational quotes because whenever I feel lazy or do not want to do the work, then these inspirational quotes makes me do things, right? And since we have been talking about finding your career, setting goals,
Yes.
reaching those goals, one of the really powerful quote which comes to my mind is from Helen Keller. It goes like this: the only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision. The only thing worse than being blind
Blind.
is
But
having sight but no vision, because that is so true. And again, we are coming back to that point where if you don't have a vision in terms of what you want to be in a year or 2 years, right? You need to have something to look forward to. But if you don't have any goals, then it's really hard to motivate yourself, right? So that's why when people approach me or when I talk to people, I tell them to put their goals, make their goals visible, and then stick it on a wall, because every day when you wake up, you know what your purpose is,
yeah,
and you know what you have to do. And when you get some task which is not aligned with your purpose or your vision, it's easy to screen that and then not do that and keep focusing on your vision and goals, right? So just something to keep in mind, especially when we talk about jobs or personal life and careers as well.
fantastic. Thank you. I'm just seeing we've been talking about so many strategies, and any strategies for salary negotiation, Raj? I'm sure you.
Salary negotiation, man. So that is one of the most toughest thing people face, and they call it the dreaded salary negotiation process, because they have to get out of their comfort zone and ask for money, and a lot of people are hesitant to do that, right?
Yes, very
So there
afraid
are
of.
many salary negotiation process which you could follow, again, which I covered in detail. But something to start with is you have to remember salary negotiation is a win-win situation. One party does not have to lose for another person to win. I think that's the key difference people fail to understand, because the company has already decided to invest in a person. The company has already decided to interview you because they feel that you have some skill sets, right?
Mhm.
And once they offer you a job, now they're extra sure that, okay, you are the right person for the job.
Mm.
And at the same time, you have all the potential, the skill sets, and you're worthy for a particular amount of money. So don't be hesitant to ask what you're worth for, right? So it's a two-way streak where the company wants you and you want the company as well. So we have to remember it's a win-win situation. And the best way to go into a salary negotiation process is do your research. Say, for example, you're, I don't know, like a sales, entry-level sales executive, right? You can go to Glassdoor, you can go to so many different websites and then find out for that particular location what are the minimum, medium, and maximum salaries possible, right?
Right.
That will give you an idea on how much you want to ask. And one big common mistake which people do is they quote a number when they ask this question, saying, what salary do you expect? They'll just say a number and that's it. And then it's really hard to go past that when you give a specific number. So during a salary negotiation process, apart from keeping in mind that it's a win-win situation, another thing to keep in mind is always answer in ranges. So when they say how much do you think you need to be paid for this job, you would say that based on your research, you would say, I expect this amount of money to this amount of money, right? And
Okay.
how you're gonna arrive at the ranges based on the research, and then you have to add 20% to what the maximum salary is, and then quote that, because once you say that, they're gonna
Reduce.
renegotiate, and come
Right.
back to the maximum salary. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yes. Yes.
that's
Very
the key in salary negotiation process. Just to repeat, find out what your maximum salary you can get, and then add 20% to it, and that should be your highest range. And your lowest range should be the medium range salary you can get for that particular job, right? That will help you get the salary you deserve,
good.
and you are worth that particular money. You don't have to feel ashamed for asking for what you're worth, because you put in so much money, effort, you learned so many things, you've gone
Time.
through so many experiences for a reason. So don't be shy, because if you don't ask for that money, someone else is going to come and take your money. So let me ask you this. Are you okay with someone else getting $20,000 of your money? If you say no, that is the right answer, right? And that's why salary negotiation process is really important. And of course, there are more like other strategies you can follow as well. But what I mentioned would be a really good start for people who are listening.
Thank you so much, Raj. This is amazing. The amount of um, of tools, of strategies, the amount of information that you just brought to my podcast today, it's unbelievable good. And I'm sure my listeners will get in touch with you. So I'm coming to the end, and I would like to know, or would like you to say to us, how can people connect and find more about your work so they can reach you out and get started?
Yeah. So, um, as you heard, I shared different strategies for different aspects of your career. For more strategies, definitely go check out my new book, which just released. It's called Skyrocket Your Career: The No Bullshit Approach to Find Your Dream Job, Be Successful in It, and Transform into a Rock Star. And the way you're going to get it and connect with me is just go to this website, skyrocketyourcareerbook.com. And there you're going to find a lot of information about me, a lot of information about the book, and you don't have to buy the book firsthand. I'm giving out a free chapter, and also the different strategies which I just mentioned. I have a lot of worksheets and activity sheets for free. You can just download it and use it without even buying the book. So definitely go check it out. And I'm super active on LinkedIn. So make sure you follow me, and we can always continue the conversation there, because that's where I'm super active.
So remember, don't if you don't have a LinkedIn account, make sure you build one. That's
And
one
then
of
follow me for sure, because
and follow it, Raj.
you are gonna see these videos which I post every week on different strategies, and they have been pretty impactful in my life and other people's lives as well.
That's really good. Thank you so much, Raj. I'm so honored, like I said at the beginning, to have you on my podcast, and such an honor to be talking with the average guy, like you said, like you said, which I think you are average but different and
Thanks so
powerful.
much. Thanks so much for having me. It was a pleasure sharing some of my insights into careers, and thanks for providing a channel for people like me to share their stories as well. So I really appreciate it.
You're more than welcome. You take care, continuously success, and God bless you.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.